Here is legendary Mick O'Dwyer. He was speaking to Maire Treasa Ní Cheallaigh at Saturday night's tribute dinner to Maire Treasa. Enjoy this.
I was watching the documentary about you a few months ago, and obviously I've known you for nearly as long as I've been alive, or I've known of you. I suppose the question for me and for lots of people is, do you ever get tired of doing things, fundraising, campaigning, travelling?
Well, I mean, if fundraising for any society, any sort of, I think it's a good thing. And if I can help in any way, I think it's only right and fitting that I should. I got so much out of playing football with Kerry, and all that came from the club in Waterville. So that's the reason why I put so much back into the club again.
When we talk about money, obviously when we think of Mick O'Dwyer, we think of washing machines and sponsorship. It's moved on a long way now. Did you ever envisage the day that the way we see now, for example, Dublin, the massive sponsorship they have, did you ever envisage the day that this would be the way inter-county football and hurling would be?
Well, I suppose it started, and I suppose we were the team that really started it with Adidas, first of all, wearing Adidas, when it was the thing to be done. And then we did the washing machines after that. And from there on, the association took over then, and they have big sponsorship now, as we all know. But it was all started way back at the small beginning, but it's no big stuff. And it's great to see the association getting so much money out of these big firms who have plenty of cash to spend. I think all the stronger counties who have been getting big money along the line should be curtailed now and cut down and put more money and more coaches into the weaker counties. I mean, if you want to improve all those counties, there's only one way you do that, by putting plenty of coaches, put them into the primary schools, and if you do that, you'll bring on your game.
Kerry is a county obviously very successful, but obviously demands in Kerry are very high. People expect a lot out of the Kerry football team. What do you think of the process that's going on at the moment to get a new Banistóir on board?
Well, I suppose it's a tough job now, I can assure you. It's not only a tough job, but it's a full-time job. I mean, if you really want to do a proper job, you must give it a lot of time. So managers are under fierce pressures now to produce the goods. And when you're in a place like Kerry, the demands are a lot bigger than most other counties. But I suppose we're hoping now that we'll get the right man in charge in Kerry and good management in there. And let's hope that we'll be back.
Have you enjoyed watching football this year, or were you maybe swayed by the hurling this summer? Because to me and to lots of others, it felt that perhaps the hurling is the one that took off this year and left football in its wake.
Yeah, well, I've always said it. Hurling is the greatest game on earth. There is no doubt about it. There isn't any other game to compete with it. And now there's about 8 counties that can win the All-Ireland title in hurling, which is great. So the aim now should be for this football to get up to the standards of that. At the present time in football, you have Dublin standing on their own. They're way out in front, but that will happen. You get highs and lows and valleys in every period. Dublin's day is their time now, but that will change in time as well. But there'll have to be a lot of work put in by the other counties to get to Dublin's standard at the present time.
That's what I was just going to ask you. Like, everybody says the wheel will turn. I suppose at the moment it's very difficult to visualise how it will turn, because when you look at the Mayos, the Tyrones, the Kerrys, they'd be the ones seen to be kind of coming up in Dublin's wake, but there's still a huge gulf. I mean, if you were a manager of one of those counties, what could you do?
Oh, the only thing about it is you'd have to change the system, train harder maybe than they have been doing, put more work into it. See, Dublin have a big advantage. They can get their team together, I'd say, in an hour. They're all living around the city, which is very convenient. But most rural counties now, all their players are away. They're in Dublin, Limerick, Cork. They're in the cities, and they have to travel back for training and all that type of stuff. So
that was something you were very good at, which was trying to make sure that the men you had playing for you, at the very least, had a job nearby, or that they wouldn't have to be travelling if they could help it at all.
Well, I mean, that's the first thing any Banistóir will have to do when he's installed, is first of all go through all his panel and make sure that they're all set up in jobs of some reason or another within distance of training. And if you can do that, that's a big part of your job done.
We think of you, obviously, you're synonymous with success with Kerry, but you've also had success in other counties. And I always think of, I'm a Galway woman, I think of 1998 and what you managed to do with Kildare. Is that even possible today now for a team that wouldn't be up in the highlights, so to speak, to be able for a manager to come in and lift them and to bring them to an All-Ireland final? Is that day gone? Has the game evolved?
Well, I think it can be done, and I think I proved that when I went to Kildare. Just before I went to Kildare, Kilkenny had beaten Kildare in the O'Byrne Cup. So that'll tell you the standard and how low they were. But with a lot of hard work and a lot of coaching and training, we had a good standard there, and we could quite easily have won that All-Ireland title. But we lost 3 of our best players on the run into that All-Ireland final. After beating the 3 previous All-Ireland champions, we had beaten Meath, Dublin and Kerry on the way through to that final. So that'll tell you, if you put in the work, it can be done.
Do you think even in today's modern age, because that was 20 years ago, do you think it's still possible today?
I think it is, if you get at least 30 players who are willing to give a total commitment. Well, it must be total. And if you get a total commitment, it's quite possible to do the very same. Dublin did it. And I mean, you put 15 men on the pitch at any time. But the thing to do is to get them into real shape. And the way Dublin have the advantage, as I said, they're all in and around the city. So we'll have to try and change the other system. We'll have to try and get work for our players in the county that they're from.
Mick O'Dwyer speaking to Maire Treasa at the weekend.